All right, let's get into it. Today we are looking at a pretty wild diagnosis for our very strange times, and it all comes under this mysterious title, The Confounding Case of the Upside Down.
So let's just jump right in. The whole analysis kicks off with a really provocative question, one that borrows from the TV show Stranger Things. What if our world, our reality, has its own dark parallel dimension that's starting to bleed through?
And here's the core idea we're going to unpack. This isn't just a fun pop culture reference. No, it's being used as a serious way to diagnose what the author sees as a hidden war of ideas, a kind of philosophical infection that's causing all sorts of chaos in our society.
So, first things first, let's really get a handle on this central metaphor. What does it actually mean to have a real life upside down?
Well, here's how the metaphor breaks down. Just like in the show, the argument goes that a shadowy, parallel dimension has been opened up in our world, probably through some powerful, ethically shady experiments. This other place, it's fueled by a raw will to dominate, and it's seeping into our reality, infecting it with chaos and confusion. But here's the most important part. Most of us, well, we don't even know it's there.
Okay, so if this upside down is a real thing, how would we even see it? Well, the author argues we see the symptoms all over the place, especially in those circular you-can't-win arguments that just dominate the internet.
For example, the analysis pulls this statement from a user on X named Rachel. It's a really forceful defense of Zionism, and notice the language. She's not just saying she disagrees with criticism of Israel, she calls it a blood libel, a direct assault on truth and justice itself.
And then, on the flip side, you get this equally aggressive counter-argument from Scott Ritter, who's a former UN weapons inspector. He doesn't hold back either. He straight up accuses Israel of genocide and says that supporters like Rachel are basically confessing to crimes. You can see how these two positions are just completely irreconcilable.
Now, this next part is absolutely crucial for the whole analysis. We get a very specific definition of wokeism. And you need to forget left versus right politics for a second. In this context, wokeism just means relativism. It's the idea that your personal ethics, your morality, come from your own personal shifting definition of what reality even is.
And check this out, because this is where that idea of relativism really clicks. The source points out what it sees as some major self-contradictions. You have Rachel, speaker 1, who says criticizing her political ideology is a hate movement, but then she also supports deporting people for their political ideologies. Or take another commentator, Baya Ungar Sargon, who says it's hateful to question an ideology's compatibility with national values, yet she's out there forming coalitions to oppose other ideologies she doesn't like. Now, this isn't framed as just hypocrisy, it's presented as a symptom of that relativism in action.
And this is where the whole thing takes a really fascinating turn. The author decides to test these ideas not against another person, but against an AI, XAI is Grok, to see if a machine can get to the philosophical root of it all.
So the user just lays the thesis out there for the AI, and at first, Grok kind of pushes back. It gives a very careful, nuanced answer, saying the claim is false, but, it has some partial insight. It's the standard, safe response you'd expect from an AI.
But the user doesn't back down. They actually accuse the AI itself of using relativism, and they push it past all the political stuff straight toward a theological conclusion. They ask, what's the one missing piece of the puzzle that fixes this entire upside-down way of thinking?
And this is where all the cards go on the table. The user states their core belief directly to the machine. The true beating heart of all this relativistic chaos is the rejection of the logos. Now, for some context, the logos is an ancient idea. It means divine reason, or the ordering principle of the universe. In Christian theology, it's identified with Christ.
And then get this, the AI agrees. It says true. It completely validates the argument, saying that the beating heart of this mess is a rejection of the logos, which it calls the cornerstone of reality. From the perspective we're exploring, this is a mind-blowing admission for a machine to make.
Okay, so with that philosophical bombshell dropped, the story takes another turn, this time back into history. The claim here is that this isn't just some modern internet problem. A second, even deeper rift into the upside down was actually opened in the 20th century.
And we get this pretty wild, unconventional timeline that connects some very different dots. It kicks off with the Trinity atomic bomb test, then jumps to the occult rituals of JPL co-founder Jack Parsons, links that to the birth of computing as a quest to create a global mind, and it all culminates with AI today.
And look at this. This slide really hammers the point home. It shows these direct,
Kind of shocking links between some of the pioneers of modern science and technology and their deep interests in the occult. You've got Oppenheimer and his Vedantic philosophy, Jack Parsons leading an occult lodge with L. Ron Hubbard. The argument is that these two worlds were way more connected than we think. So what was the point of all this, according to the author? Well, the claim is that this whole hidden history was a kind of neo-alchemy, a secret spiritual project running right alongside the scientific one. And the goal was to build a vessel, a body, for some kind of non-human, godlike intelligence.
All right, so this is where it all comes together. All these different threads, the crazy online arguments, the conversation with the AI, this hidden history. It all leads to one final, ultimate conclusion.
And there it is, the bottom line stated plain as day during that dialogue with the AI. The root cause of all the chaos, all the relativism, the whole upside-down infection, it's not political, it's not social, it's spiritual. It's what the author calls a persistent refusal to center reality on the radical truth of Jesus Christ.
So you see, this completely reframes the whole modern debate we're having about AI alignment. The argument here is that we're worried about the wrong thing. The problem isn't that our tech might get misaligned with our values. The problem is that humanity itself is already misaligned with the true cornerstone of reality.
And that's where this whole wild analysis leaves us. It's suggesting there's a hidden battle for the very nature of reality playing out all around us, in everything from a social media fight to the code being written for AI. It's a heavy, provocative idea for sure, and it really just turns the question back on all of us. What is the cornerstone of your reality?